Hey everyone, welcome to our live event today, how Chris Hixson and QBIQ are revolutionizing the quarterback position. My name is Benjamin McCabe. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Athlete Network, and we're proud to be sponsoring today's presentation. Athlete Network provides career networking and media services to current and former athletes to help them understand and leverage their athlete mindset. Competitive people at every level are thriving by bringing their athlete mentality, mindset, and work ethic to the business world and to their everyday lives, and we're there to try to help them with that. If you have a chance after the event today, please visit athletenetwork.com. Check out our blog later today. A recording of today's event will be available on the Athlete Network blog. Before we get started, I would like to thank our technology provider, Blue Jeans. That's the platform you're watching this broadcast on today. Blue Jeans is a media company and global leader in video communications. Their technology brings people together, creates shared experiences, broadcasts them to the world through interactive live streaming. We here at Athlete Network have been partnered with Blue Jeans for several years now, and it's really revolutionized the way we communicate with athletes and our clients. So I would encourage you all to check them out at bluejeans.com. It's really some fantastic technology. Finally, I wanted to let everyone know that towards the end of the event today, we will have a Q&A session with the presenters. So if you would like to submit a question, you can use the moderator chat feature to do so. I'll have those questions, and if time allows at the end, we will we'll ask those live and try to get answers for you. Now on to the good stuff. It is my pleasure today to introduce our host, Chris Hixson. Chris is a former professional quarterback and an expert in pro quarterback biomechanics and mental mechanics. Along with his services as a private quarterback coach, he's also the creator of QBTV. QBTV is a new technology that quarterbacks can use to quickly identify mechanical issues while providing comparative analysis with professional quarterbacks, really like throwing right alongside a pro. Along with his QBTV creation, Chris has also come up with revolutionary new technology in QBIQ, which is the absolute best mental mechanical approach in football. And that's actually why we're here today to talk about that. So without any further delay, I'll take the nerd with the bow tie off the screen and turn things over to Chris. Chris, welcome.
Benjamin, thank you very much. First off and foremost, I want to thank Athlete Network for putting us on and letting us get the word out about QBIQ. Blue Jeans, thank you very much as well for giving us the good platform to let everybody know about us. And of course, without S1 Marketing, Dave Meltzer and Warren Moon, and of course, our very own Samantha Sandoval. So with those guys, we're very thankful. And to bring to you guys and show the world what QBIQ is all about, we're very excited to present QBIQ to everybody. There's nothing like it that exists. It does not, there's not anything before it that has existed. I've been coached by a lot of guys and nobody has ever brought this up. QBIQ is something that you don't know until you're a few years pro, but it was taught, you know, when you got to professional ranks, it was taught by experience that actually branded it to your brain. And it doesn't change your offense at all. It actually makes you know your offense better than ever. And so we're pretty excited about QBIQ and how it takes your anticipation to be sharper, where rush and coverage do not have a chance. And that makes you pretty effective and lethal on the offensive side of things. I love watching, like, for instance, the 9, 10, 11-year-old quarterbacks know more about foundational concepts than college players and some pros. It actually makes it pretty exciting. And today we're pretty excited to talk about this with an expert roundtable. The guys that we have lined up, just a few of the resume highlights. We've got professional quarterback coaches from all over the nation. We've got a college offensive coordinator who actually he installed this into his offense mid-season. And so that's going to be exciting. I can't wait to bring Rob on. Also, we've got two of the private coaches are also FBU lead coaches, and one of these guys has won a world championship twice. So we're very excited about those guys. And also with guests that we have on, we've got a head coach from a high school in Chattanooga, Notre Dame High School. We also got new guys that are in the QBIQ program, and we've got guys that are seasoned. in the QBIQ program. Also, we have a dad's perspective of how QBIQ is helping his son out. So we're very excited about to bring this to you and give you a little taste about what QBIQ is about. Watch and see one of our products that we currently have right now with the flashcards. QBIQ's evolution has been dramatic. It's actually changing quarterback play nationwide. All right, here we go. We're going 3 in a row.
Yes.
Yes, no. Yes. No.
Out. All right, so it's 2 to 1.
Yes. On time. No, yes.
3 to 1.
You got that?
No on this side, but yes on this side.
Correct. That's 4 to 1.
Yes on time.
Okay. You got it, but that was a good job. You're out. So, as you can see, it's pretty effective. That one gentleman there is 9 years old, dominating information, looking at defenses and with routes. I'd like to go ahead and explain a little bit further about who these expert panelists are. Our first expert panelist is Rob Slavens. Coach Rob Slavens is an offensive coordinator who actually installed QBIQ his very first year. The next guy is Spin City's trainers creator, and I know a lot of you quarterbacks throughout the nation have got the Spin City trainer now, and you're very excited to use it. That is Matthew DeRazio. He was actually a 2-time world champion, and both times he was MVP for those Arena Bowl championships. He uses QBIQ with his FBU kids and his kids he coaches at privately. Coach Kelly Meeker, the owner of QB7, who is a lead quarterback coach at FBU, who also uses QBIQ with his quarterbacks at FBU, across the nation, and the kids he coaches at home privately. So we're very excited about that. And without further ado, I want to bring on Coach Slavens. Coach Slavens, there's not a better guy to start with because you're a guy in the middle of a college offensive season. You installed it. So, Coach, if you could give us your approach and your results.
Yes, Coach. Appreciate and want to thank everybody on here giving us this opportunity today. So it was all timing, rhythm and timing, right? So I met you. We were 0-4, probably 0-3 at the time. Ended up picking up another loss. And as we're just talking about and formulating ideas, I'm just getting to know you. 2 things really stuck with us and really carried over through the season, through the rest of the season, where we did go 5-1, kind of turning around. First one, just the whole concept of rhythm and timing. And with that, we installed a 2-step drop, which just increased our timing and made our offense more efficient. We installed a 2-step drop with all our 3-step concepts. Previously to that, we were a 1-step drop on 3-step concepts, predominantly out of the gun. And the jab step out of that 2-step really allowed us to read. I thought it maybe would take too long, but it ended up timing up and really increased our efficiency. The next one was huge, and just the simplicity of breaking down what routes, pass trees 0 through 9 on the routes, what routes beat what coverage. Now, we've been familiar with what concepts beat what coverage, but to bring it back to the base level of just exactly what route beats what coverage was instrumental in our success. So thank you, Chris.
Coach, I appreciate it. And you bring up a good point. The concepts is what draws clarity. Taking gray area situations and just clearing it up and saying, look, here's the way to work with the grain of defense. And that was the number one thing we were looking at with QBIQ. The evolution of it was teaching guys years ago and then just saying, you know what, there's got to be an easier way. And just giving guys with the grain of defense concept. And so anyway, I think right now is probably a good time to bring on the rest of the guys. So Kelly, Matt, what do you guys think about what's been your experience with QBIQ?
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, first of all, I carry my QBIQ cards everywhere I go in my concept book. So just get that straight. And the reason why is because because when this was first introduced to me, there you go, Coach, by Chris, the first thing I thought of was, where was this when I was trying to be a quarterback growing up? And once I realized what it was, I've carried it with me and shared it with me wherever I go, whether it be a football university camp or just at my hometown training kids. And the way I describe it is we all show up to, I don't know if you've ever had the feeling of us take yourself back to middle school or to high school when you've had a test and you show up for it and you just didn't study for it as much as you should have, and you're kind of wondering what the answers are and you're guessing and that sort of thing, versus when you show up to a test and you studied your rear end off and you can't wait to take the test and you mark down those answers one by one as fast as you can. The same thing, it's the same exact concept. It's the same way you study for a football game and how you prepare for a football game. And you go out there, you have the answers to the test ahead of time, and you can make quick decisions from this position, which is hard enough to play as it is, because you got to do so many things leading up to the competition. And QBIQ has made it so much easier, and that's one of the main reasons I share it with everybody I come in contact with.
It's true. I mean, Chris, you and I joke around about this all the time, but it's on how simple it is. And we always go, why has no one thought of this before? It's so simple, no one could think of it except for you. So anyway, that's truly exactly what this system is. I share a good story all the time with a kid that I'm training right now, who was a wide receiver that his coach wanted to move him to quarterback, and he didn't really want to play quarterback. And I asked him, I said, well, do you not want to play quarterback because you just want to stay a receiver, or are you nervous about the position? And he says, well, I just don't really know a lot about football, so I'm nervous. A receiver, I just do my thing. So after our very first session, we ran through like some real basic coverages. We went through 2, 3, and 0. That was it. And we ran through the QBIQ cards for about 5 minutes. Afterwards, I said, well, do you feel a little better about this? He's like, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. I think I'm okay with playing quarterback. And that was after one session. And it is that simple, and it's so easy, the gamesmanship of it and challenging them, and it's fun for them. It's not just staring at a piece of paper or getting on a grease board. And it just really helps those concepts. And it's been huge for us. We're doing it with young kids. I mean, I think we've all experienced that back from when we were playing. I came out of a wing T high school the first day I got to college, and they started drawing coverages on the board and then threw in 20 plus plays on top of it for our first practice. To say I was lost was a gross understatement. So for these kids to be doing this at 10 years old, 11 years old, younger, all the way through college, it's a huge advantage to them. It's very easy, and they pick up on it fast, in my opinion.
Kelly, thanks a lot. You guys, I respect you guys so much, and especially Coach Slavens for utilizing it during the middle of a college season is intense. And to hear the results, it gives me goosebumps, and it's exciting to listen to the youth to all the way to guys that can use it as a good hard practice for when you're a professional. There's NFL guys that I've introduced this to, and they said, why didn't I have this earlier? I could have used it. So we're pretty excited about it. And I guess what would be good now is to show some of the results that Coach Slavens actually had. So we're gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna give this back to Coach Slavens to be able to give a couple examples of his results.
Okay, first clip here just shows our total offensive production. 277 total yards to 481. That's an increase of 204 yards. Pretty significant there. Thank you. Next slide. Points per game, 13.5 to 44 points per game. So there's an increase of 30.5 points. That is major. The system definitely got us into the red zone and set us up for opportunities to score, and we definitely countered on that.
Coach Slavin, that's two unbelievable stats. Why don't we do this real quick? Why don't we go ahead and jump to two students? These two students are amazing. They're going to blow you out. They're both seventh graders, and they're the best two seventh graders in the country. Coach Matt DeRazio, if you could, can you give these guys a good interview?
Jeremy Heklinski. Jeremy, you there? Let's go Jeremy first. Jeremy, you there?
Sure.
Is this true that you've thrown for over 65 touchdowns and 7,500 yards in 3 years?
Yes, sir.
That's incredible. I don't think I could do that on air. So I'm impressed that there was a defense out there and you got it done. So unbelievable. So Coach Hixson's telling me about this story where you guys were in a coffee shop and QBIQ came up and the cards came out of his pocket. What happened? Can you tell us about that story when you were in the coffee shop?
Well, we went to Alpharetta and we worked out, and then we got a cup of coffee and we sat down and did QBIQ, and we went through coverages and routes.
What did you think of that? I know you do the on the field stuff and you're working hard, then you get the mental side. Is that, if you feel like that's helped you out?
Yes, sir.
In what ways? Do you have a specific 7-on-7 or game competition where that's made a difference for you, that you can remember that the QBIQ cards and system has come into play?
I was at an FBU camp and we had 7-on-7 going. It had a slant and out route, and there was cover 2, and flat defender went to the out route, so I had to throw the slant.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you're a tech savvy kid, aren't you? You got phones and all kinds of eye stuff and face stuff and chat books and stuff like that, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Now, if this, I don't know if you knew, but if QBIQ is coming out on the app, would that be something you'd be interested in?
Yes, sir.
Coming soon, QBIQ on app. You can take it with you everywhere you go. Don't use it while you're in school. Pay attention, but otherwise, you should be on that app getting better as a quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Next, we got Zaire Goff. Zaire, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
You're a 7th grader too, huh?
Yes, sir.
So the word is you're one of the hardest working QBs in all the country. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Well, so tell me this. How long have you been working with Coach Hixson?
3 years. This year will be 4. And I'm just trying to get better and better each year that I play this position.
What are some of the top things that he's focused on just so you can progress in the right direction?
Technique, elbow, and footwork.
Nice. Are you guys and the physical stuff for sure, but how about the mental side? Have you guys been using QBIQ?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me one example similar to Jeremy that it really came into play where you saw everything clearly, you broke the huddle, you walk up to the line of scrimmage, everything kind of unfolded just as planned and as you prepared for? Can you give us an example of that?
Okay, so we had an out on the right side and a go for the Z receiver, and it was basically a sprint out, and I came outside of the defensive end and I drew the linebacker up. The cornerback played a bell technique and they came back up, so I threw the fly as a hole shot and the safety couldn't get to the ball.
Nice. So you got the whole shot in there, you threw it on the run, and some of it came through the processing of the QBIQ cards, recognizing the coverage, knowing the situation, and delivering the pass, huh? Awesome. And Jeremy, Zaire, thank you guys very much. I know you guys are throwing for a ton of yards and a ton of touchdowns. Congratulations on that. Keep working hard. Keep putting in the time, and I know things will work out for you. Coach Hixson, back to you with.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. That's awesome. 2 7th graders absolutely tearing it up. I love hearing their stories. I think right now is a good time to actually watch the flashcards, how quickly they can be used. For instance, at a camp at FBU when Coach Kelly Meeker used them.
Card. Okay. Flip it over right here. All right. Now, cover 4. All right, listen. Okay, this is where you guys got to keep track of their misses. You got like a second to answer. Yes or no. Okay? You ready? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. 10-yard out, yes or no?
No.
That's a yes. That's 1 wrong. Okay. 5-yard out, yes or no?
Yes.
Dig.
Yes.
Take off.
No.
Slant.
No.
That's yes. That's wrong. That's 2. Hitch.
Yes.
Curl.
Yes.
Corner.
Yes.
No, that's 3 wrong. Post.
No.
Yes, that's 5. 4 wrong. Comeback.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. 4. 4.
That's just the flashcards. We haven't even talked about the big book yet, but you know, a great guy to talk to is a high school coach's perspective. So when we bring in Coach Fant from Notre Dame High School out of Chattanooga, Coach Fant and I actually put on a camp. I came to Notre Dame High School. I put on a camp at his school, and I'm not sure what he expected. But Coach Fant, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Doing good, Coach. Doing great. Thanks for asking. What was your first impression of QBIQ?
Well, first of all, it was amazing. Just we first started outside with all the players and just going through all the techniques with the quarterback throw, and I had a couple of my quarterbacks there. Then we went up to my room and did the QBIQ cards. And the very first impression I had is seeing the kids that you had already worked with. When I first viewed them with those cards, I started thinking, man, these guys are like cyborgs or something. I mean, they were going through those cards. I'm guessing myself thinking, dude, am I thinking about coverages and things right? And these kids are just killing it. And so it was just amazing to watch those kids. And then when my kids started to do it, it took them a little time to get the feel, but then their competitive juices started going. And I was surprised at how quickly they started picking up on the card system. So it was awesome to see.
Man, that's awesome, Coach. I again, goosebumps. I mean, let me ask you a real good pertinent question. How do you think, like for instance, you saw like quick growth, something's definitely there. It could help. How do you see it going further? How could it help you in your offense?
Well, obviously, the major part is not only is it the routes versus the coverages, it's also the situations. It's also down and distance. There's are you ahead? Are you behind? And then the other thing that we talk a lot about is just the amount of reps. When you see it, you draw it and you do it, and we can do it versus all those different coverages. Now we're getting our kids with 90 to 100 reps with this system going in and understanding. So for us, we don't have very many plays, and it's all about being experts on those few plays that we have. And now that our kids can also now see each one of those routes, now they can start saying, "Hey, coach, that's a crazy call. Why'd you call that the play with 4 verts in there in cover 4 and here's a better play and coach kind of audible and the kids are already talking about audible and things." And so it's just the mindset and the mentality that these kids approach their jobs a lot differently.
That's awesome, Coach. And I appreciate your trust. It's hard enough getting a high school coach's trust and because they want to work their system. And the great part about this system, it doesn't change your X's and O's at all. I mean, all it does is help your quarterback know your system better.
We used the R4 system that Doug Maddox and those guys have done for years now and love it, but it actually enhances it because now when the kids understand that coverages and our route combinations, they'll know that rhythm route really is there or not, and they can now accelerate to the read. So almost now our read's almost a rhythm route because I think on your little thing says reading yesterday's newspaper today, or sorry, tomorrow's newspaper today. There he goes. Reading tomorrow's newspaper today. I'm constantly saying that to the kids because that's what it's doing. We really want our kids to anticipate their throws and anticipate where they want to go with the ball. If they do that, their confidence level just shoots to the roof. Now we know they have a better than higher opportunity to actually execute the play for us.
No doubt. I mean, it's truly the most foundational wiring system that I know of. Coach, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for opening your doors to us and giving us your trust with QBIQ. We very sincere about that. Thank you. Yes, sir. We're going to actually switch this over to Coach Kelly Meeker from South Dakota, our very own private coach from FBU, very impressive gentleman. He's about to interview a dad's perspective. I'll let you take it away with Sean Corbett. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me on today. Thanks, Sean, for being here. I'm glad that we're having Sean on. It's going to be great to have a dad's perspective. Because dads, most of the time, a lot of times in this thing we call quarterback play, are heavily involved. When we're privately training guys, we may throw with them once, twice a week. Dad's probably catching form 5 days a week. So it's great to have you on, Sean. Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
So Sean's son is Christian. He's class of 2019 out of Perry High School. Big 6'4", up-and-coming quarterback. It's going to be exciting to see kind of where he goes in the future. Sean, I know, like, as a parent, you're always searching for the right things, the right opportunities, and giving your athlete all the opportunities you can to maximize his skill set and potential. So how do you see Christian using QBIQ now that he's purchased it? We kind of know how it works, but how do you see him kind of utilize it throughout his day?
Well, they go to practice every morning on Tuesday, Monday through Thursday. They work out, then they go one-on-ones, offense versus defense. And I think we've been doing it now almost 3 weeks, almost a month. And from where we started to where we are now, Christian's just works at it constantly because he wants to be better and better and better. And he can pick a defense now. He knows the route, the tree routes, and he knows what coverage is lining up in front of him. And he'll know what routes are open before the defense even knows what hit him. He's got, like Chris taught him, pre-snap read. He can read the defense before he even snaps the ball. And that's crucial with his role and what he's wanting to do with his life.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. It is such a great system for that, and it gives you so much clarity pre-snap. So the other thing I think is pretty cool is the word on the street is that Christian's taking this and working with these route cards with his wide receivers, which I love because the more I get into this system and the more I've used it, it should be called like QBIQ/wide receiver/ running back / anybody else, because it literally is beneficial for everybody. For a wide receiver to understand where that route's going to be open, if it's going to be open, where the holes are in that defense. So anyway, give me a little bit of insight on how he's been using this with his wide receivers in their own personal meetings.
So we were doing it on Thursday nights, and we just moved it to Monday nights because we have so many of the kids coming over. So me and my wife will get in and we'll cook, and he invites them. They all come over. I think this last time we had 12, first and second string. And while they're eating, we're just sitting there, and I'm listening to him, and he's going over these cards. He's going over the schemes. I'm actually going to print some of the papers off of the book so they can actually go home and RDR it themselves. And man, it's awesome because if you're in a cover 2 and you've got 4 wide, the 2 outside guys are running deep. Well, if everybody knows he's throwing the out or the slant or the hitch, then they need to be blocking and giving that guy a chance to turn the corner and go. If everybody's on the same page and they've all bought in, I mean, they're excited. They're texting me, "Hey, we're still on for Monday, right? Y'all cooking spaghetti this week or whatever?" It's awesome.
I'm coming.
That's awesome. Just to think of the communication level between all of them, that you start to almost get some of that silent communication because they're all seeing the same things, and what an advantage that's going to be in the fall when they get on the field. It's going to be fun to watch. So getting to that, I mean, all these tools, we do all this private coaching, we work all these different devices and all this stuff. How do you see this actually translating, which is most important, to the field on Friday nights? Obviously, that's where it's the most important. So I'm just curious to see how you kind of see that translating onto the field.
Well, I think, because see, today he couldn't join us today because they're on 7-on-7, and it was an all-day thing that just kind of got thrown onto him. And I see with everybody on the same page and know what's fixing to happen before the ball's even snapped, you've got a huge advantage. And knowing down and distance and being able to move the ball and not being aggressive, taking those short routes, just moving the ball down the field. Man, I'm excited for Friday nights. I am. I mean, I've sent Christian to football camps all over and just trying to get him prepared. And then once we found out about Chris and started going to Chris, it's like a night and day difference. It's understanding, it's mechanics, it's all about QBIQ and knowing the system. And I think it's going to be, we was what, I think 6-3 last year. I look to be, or 3-6, I'm sorry. I look to have a winning season. If maybe I'm going to take a shot. Hopefully we don't lose maybe one game.
That's awesome. Well, again, thanks a lot for being here. I mean, it's really cool to hear how Christian's using it. I think it's a really good roadmap for how other quarterbacks should be utilizing this and bringing in their teammates. And obviously, the more reps they get, the better they're going to get. And again, thanks a lot. I appreciate you letting me ask you a few questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and flip this back to Rob. It's important to go to the stats. What are the results? So, Rob, if you could take it away again with 2 stats.
Okay, go ahead. First slide. Third down efficiency. So the previous 2 stats were pretty crazy. If you look at this one, third down efficiency, this is big for us. We increased 22 to 39%, that's 17% increase, which continued drives got us into the red zone. Next slide. Time of possession. This is obviously key. You got to keep the other team off the field, but then when you have the ball, we want to keep the ball as long as we can and sustain drives. And an increase of, close to 9 minutes there was quintessential for us getting in the zone.
Coach Slavens, that's awesome. I mean, when you talk about the hardcore proof, third down efficiency, continue. Here's the big one that I thought was impressive. Your guys' run game prior was 70 yards per game, but because of better decision making, your playbook widened open, and you were always in a good situation. So what ended up happening was your run game went from 70 to 240 yards per game, and your pass game went from 220 to only 241. So what that means is you were guys in the beginning was, of course, you were always, you were not as good of a situation. So you had to pass quite a bit. But then once the playbook opened, you guys could run. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, is you're a straight balanced 50-50 offense at 240 and 241. That was a huge stat. And I looked at third down efficiency. It's amazing. And you guys owned the clock, time of possession. Coach Slavens, awesome job. I'm going to flip this now to Matthew DeRazio again. He's got a guy his name is Quinn Teeples, absolute black belt at QBIQ. Go ahead, Matt. Take it away.
Going.
Nothing much.
How long you been working with Chris?
For about 7 months now.
7 months and you're already a black belt. That's incredible. You've been putting the time in, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
Were you introduced to QBIQ right away? Was that something that Chris brought to your attention as he started to train you?
Pretty much by the second day, we already started working hard at it, getting some reps in, getting that mental rep.
And you're a rising freshman, right? Is that right? Incoming freshman?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for you, you're trying to make you make a name for yourself, get known. There's a bunch of quarterbacks out there. Some of them have hair in places that we want to talk about, and you're just an upcoming freshman. And to separate yourself maybe from the competition is to mentally be ahead of the game, right? Can you tell us a story about how your coach saw that in you, or what you did to grab his attention when it came to the mental side of things?
So we were at practice, and the varsity offense was up, and he was nearly running through the routes, and I saw that the corner was playing back, so I was kind of mumbling to myself, and the coach was standing right next to me, like, hey, you should have thrown the flat route instead of the go, or a couple of times you just made a bad read, and I said you should have done this instead of that. So what ended up happening is the coach heard that, and while we were doing our offense, he gave me an audible that the varsity quarterback didn't have. So because he knew what I knew, he let me call audibles.
That's incredible to me. I mean, there's the physical side, but then there's the mental side, which is really the most important side to this game. And that's one way you can really separate yourself from the competition and get ahead of who you're trying to maybe beat out, and maybe get some extra abilities to audible and do things like that, and gain the trust of your coaches, one, and your teammates too. So, man, that's awesome. And we're proud of you and how hard you're working and where you're at and using QBIQ. And we just want to thank you for your time today, and wish you the best of luck going forward.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Chris, back to you, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Quinn, that's awesome. I mean, there's not a guy that works harder than Quinn on the mental side of things. He works hard all the way through, but I'm telling you right now, watch out for that kid in terms of quarterback efficiency. It's always made in the decision, the up in the brain. Something that Quinn works hard on is the QBIQ system book, which comes in a two-piece set. It looks like this. It's got this where you got the concept book, and the concept is really the key, so that you understand what are the concepts, what are the concept breakers, how do you visualize the defense, what works with the defense, what doesn't work with the defense, and then situationally what works and what should the timing of the footwork be per route. And if you do this and you get it to a perfect setting, you will never give the defense a chance. They can only play altitude and then come up and make the tackle and hope that you make a mistake of what you want. So basically, it's an unbelievable concept, number one. But number two, the branding process, which is the secondary book, which is the training book. And if you go through the training book, you hammer home the actual your playbook to your brain, and that's where you become, like Coach Fan had said, almost a cyborg, because you're operationally, you're always correct, and that's always the one thing. If we can kick out MAs, then we only have to deal, and MAs are mental assignments, any mental issues. If we can kick those out and always be consistent, then all we got to work about is our executional issues. So it's definitely an advantage. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this to Kelly. Kelly's got this next guy, Austin Kirksey. If he's not the best quarterback coming up in 2019 out of Georgia, he's one of, without a doubt. And I'm going to go ahead and let Kelly take it away with him.
Hey, Austin, thanks for being here today. First of all, Chris was telling me today about a little story, so I got to ask you. Give me a little recall of this ball signature story at a camp, and then let me know a little bit about ball signature in general.
Yeah, Chris is always harping me on ball signature. I didn't really believe him, but I went up to Wake Forest, and I really had it spinning because we were working on ball signature the whole week before. So we were just warming up, and all of a sudden we were just, warming up, started backing up a little bit. I was just standing there, and all of a sudden I looked because he was way far down. I remember he was staring at me. I was like, what's up? The dude was 60 yards deep. I've never even thrown it 60 yards before. I was like, wow. I wasn't even I was just standing there throwing it because the ball, this tight spiral, just has it flying through my hand. I was like, wow, this isn't even me. It just felt so amazing. But yeah, that's really ball signature. Makes it go about 5 miles per hour faster and at least 5 yards further.
Yeah, just one of those small things like biomechanically and getting everything right and tight.
Yep,
Makes
we were working.
Right.
Oh yeah, we were working that whole week, and then all of a sudden just went out there, and I've never thrown the ball so good in my life. It was just pretty.
That's a lot of fun when that all comes. Right?
It was.
So how you've been using the QBIQ system? How do you think it's helped you so far with everything that you've been?
It's definitely helped a lot. It makes me way more efficient at the line. I just, read with coverage. Oh, cover 2, okay. Thank you. I'll take that. Kind of pick them apart. It's real easy. 7-on-7. We just won the last tournament. We only lost one game, and now we're going to Hoover for the national 7-on-7 tournament. So we're on a good roll.
What's
But
that do to your confidence when you know pre-snap exactly what the defense is doing and you know what you're gonna do?
oh, it's just like I just know what I'm doing, so I'm like, all right, don't miss this throw. It's gonna be open, and I know it. I just focus on the throw now, and it's just helping a lot. Makes everything a lot easier.
Perfect. So now, had you had a chance? Were you using this system prior to last season, or is this your first off season using QBIQ?
This is my first off season using QBIQ. Chris gave me the book a couple months ago, and I just started,
Great. So
working
you're
through.
seeing it. You're seeing it working in your 7-on-7, and this will be your
Oh
first
yeah.
fall. How do you
Oh
see
yeah.
it benefiting you going into the fall? I mean, obviously 7-on-7 is nice, but nobody's trying to hit you in the face.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, just the speed of the game will move so much quicker. I just know what I'm doing. Like I said, it's hard to stop. So, but
Perfect. Well, thanks, Austin, for taking the time to answer some of these questions for us. I know things are going good, and we're really looking forward to seeing kind of what you do this fall here.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Kelly, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. And Austin, I'm telling you, everybody look out for that name. Look out for Austin Kirksey. He is going to be a blazer in college. We're very excited about his progress. Now, with I think it's always a good point to sit here and bring it back to, okay, Coach Fant brought up layers to the flashcards. Flashcards are so simple to apply. So why don't we go ahead and go to the flashcard system, but this is with the situation added to it. This program does not exist anywhere. All my years, college, professional, I've never had any coach explain to me this fundamental, foundational rewire for a quarterback to process. Situation. Here we go. Boom. Second and 8, minus 30.
Yes.
Yes. He got it.
What?
6-1.
No. Yes.
Correct. 7-1.
No, audible to 4. Either side.
Okay, love it. Because the 3rd and 8. Great job. Next. Here we go. Ready. Situations 34 plus 31.
No. Audible to.
Okay. You could say no audible because it's 3rd and 4 rather than running the whole shot.
Audible to.
No. Okay. You guys are wrong. Sudden change.
Yes.
At midfield, yes is the answer. 6 looks on everything. Nice job. There we go. Last one for you guys, 3rd and 4.
Yes.
Nice job. So guys, it's awesome to sit there and watch kids absolutely kill situational thoughts. What defense is it and what's my route? Does it work? Does it not? Does it take care of the situation? It is hardwired in their brain. They can now go out there in practice and they're not an anchor to the boat dragging on the seafloor. They're sitting there, their boat offensive mind is running and they're helping other guys because the game is now slowed down. They can really do their job of managing their players and the situation. So guys, I would like Matt, Kelly, what's your guys' bottom line of this thing? Matt, I'll start with you. What's your bottom line?
Yeah, Chris, the bottom line is we're all trying to get better. We're all trying to compete. We're all trying to play. And at this position, only one guy can play. We want to be a good teammate and a good friend, no doubt about it, all the way around, but we want to be on the football field. And if there's tools out there that can separate us from the competition, we want to utilize them. And you've come up with something that's unique to the position, but at the same time, so simple and easy to grasp that it makes sense to go after this, to really utilize it to its fullest potential and put it in as a tool in your toolbox to get better. And like I said, find yourself out there on Friday, Saturday, or Sundays playing football.
That's awesome. Kelly, how about you? What's your final thought?
Same thing, just like we said earlier, just the simplicity of it. I explained it to a dad the other day that I feel like it's literally like going in and getting LASIK surgery. Everything's a little foggy, a little blurry, a lot of things are happening. And you start with these cards, and after like day one, it just becomes crystal clear. You just start looking at the game differently. Have a guy playing professionally in Sweden. I sent him this information, just the processing part of it. After talking through it for about 10 minutes, he's like, that really makes sense. I'm changing the way I approach this football field. And so that's the easiest, the best way I can put it. It is like literally giving yourself clear vision, understanding it, and making it simplified.
You know, it's funny. I think you mentioned one time Rob Thompson, who was it that you were talking to? That you guys were at FBU camp. He was Oklahoma's quarterback.
Oh, Charles
Thompson. Yeah, he was saying that, and that guy's been in a national championship game. And he was saying, you know, in this hard position, we think everything has to be so hard. This makes it a lot simpler. Jeez. And I think probably fitting that we leave the last bottom line to an offensive coordinator in college who actually has the real results. Coach Slavens, take it away with your bottom line.
Yeah, great points, Kelly and Matt. Really agree with all of what you said. So to piggyback on that, number one, I like it because it's a system for all ages. What you're teaching an 8 and 9-year-old, you can teach the same thing to a 25, 26-year-old. It stands the test of time, and it's generational. The other thing, Chris, I just have to compliment you on when you think of football and all the different intricacies, routes, defenses, mechanics. I haven't talked to a better guy that summarizes all this information into one game plan that you can see an outline, as opposed to just piecemealing everything. You really have created an outline that is teachable, learnable for all ages.
Oh man, Coach Slavens, thank you very much. I just want to thank everybody. I thank all the guests today, and I certainly thank Matt, Kelly, and Coach Rob. I get to talk to you guys often, and I don't take it lightly. Every moment I get with you guys, I hold dear, and I appreciate you guys. And I can't wait for other people to get the advantage of QBIQ. I also want to thank Athlete Network again, Blue Jeans. I also want to thank, lastly, of course, S1 Marketing. Thank you very much to those guys. Benjamin, with Athlete Network, I'm going to hand it back over to you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. And yeah, I'd like to extend my thanks to everyone that joined us today as well. We do have a couple of questions, Chris, that came in. We have a couple minutes here. So I wanted to throw a couple of those to you so we could get answers out to the audience. One of the questions that came in asking about if a quarterback is using the system, 2 points here. Is there a certain age that is ideal to start using the system? And then also, how quickly do you typically start seeing the results from using QBIQ?
Okay. Age, there is no age, reading age. It's funny. I have guys that come in, they'll sit there and meet with me, and then they'll go watch a Sunday game an NFL game on Sunday, and they know all the defenses. So how long does it take to start gaining advantages or benefits? 5 minutes.
Awesome. Very cool. Another question we had coming in asking about wanted to know, is this something that a quarterback can use independently, or is it best used with the offensive coordinator and the coach of the team? Does it have to be one or the other?
No, it can be all three. It can be either the offensive coordinator. Here's the bottom line. The quarterback needs to use it. If the wide receivers use it, it's even better. If your offensive coordinator can use it, then he's going to call more better plays. He'll be better placed for his calls will be more matched for the situation. It helps everybody out. So it's a combination of all. Anybody can use it. Doesn't matter.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, with that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining today. For more information on QBIQ, you can get in touch with Chris at his website, chrishixson.com/QBIQ. Also, if for more information on Blue Jeans, the technology provider for today's event, visit them at bluejeans.com. And then finally, please take a moment to visit athletenetwork.com. Consider registering for a free account if you're an athlete or a former athlete. And also, anyone out there can check our blog later today. We'll have a recording of the show available. So with that, thank you all for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.